Being okay, your life.
Okay.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this live broadcast. I have with me here most Shobolaje Abimbola. I forgot that right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So today we'll be talking about a topic: pandemics, suffering, and God. Right. So maybe we'll just wait a little bit and see if other people join, as other people join before we can proceed. For now, I think it's just zero views. I don't know if you can see it on
Okay.
your end. Yeah. Okay, let's
I
see.
can't. That's so.
Oh, oh, that's strange. Maybe because I'm using
Probably
a
because
trial
I'm
version.
using a browser.
Okay. So let's just wait a little more minutes so other people can join and then
Okay.
so we won't just be talking and then people will join halfway.
Yeah. I get.
Sorry. Um, this people should join now. Um, okay. So still waiting. Sorry for the delay.
Okay.
Um, okay, I think yeah. Okay, some people started joining, so I guess we can start now. Yeah.
All right.
So welcome once again to this live broadcast. I have with me here Abimbola Moshobalaje. He's a pastor with God Carriers Church in Akure, and he'll be discussing with me a topic about pandemics, suffering, and God. Why we are doing this is we want to really connect with a lot of people that maybe they have a lot of questions that need to be answered, right, concerning the current happenings, things that are happening in the world today, and the whole COVID-19 issue and all that relates to that. So we want to really build the conversations, especially from a biblical point of view. Um, what does the Bible say concerning these issues, and also what lessons can we draw and on how to live, especially in this um, kind of times. So basically, that's what we are looking out for. So pandemics, first of all, pandemics, um, outbreak of disease, especially on a large scale, right? So the reason why people call maybe epidemics or something like that pandemic is when the scale has actually increased, when it has affected a lot of people right across the world. So it becomes a pandemic because it has affected more people. So, and most pandemics do come with suffering. I think I just read recently that some staff of a particular bank in Nigeria would lose their jobs, right? And even before that, during the
Yeah.
lockdown, a lot of people who depended on daily pay saw their daily income actually inhibited, and as a result of that, they suffered. I mean, a lot of um, struggle around what to eat and all that. So pandemics in of itself comes with a lot of suffering, right? Human beings in general, as with most species, we are built to more like appreciate comfort, right? So anything that tends to shift us away from comfort or create a little bit of discomfort um, gets to create a sense of pain also. So people begin to attribute suffering to that or pain to that. So that's what we're going to be looking at to how the current pandemic has been able to affect how people live and then how we as individuals, as believers, how do we respond to it. Pandemics is not new. This is not the first time. In throughout history, you hear about a lot of pandemics: the bubonic plague, the Black Death. At one point, malaria was a pandemic, and even in the Bible, we've seen pandemics in one way or the other. The 10 plagues in Egypt, right, in Exodus, in the book of Exodus, and then the census plague in Second Samuel chapter 24. So we see a lot of pandemics like that occur in the Bible, and these pandemics do come with um, hardship and suffering. When people do suffer or experience suffering, different thing comes to mind. And for many, it is difficult to reconcile the idea of a good God allowing suffering, right? Especially in the midst of the pandemic. I mean, we say God is love, God is
Yeah.
good, God is kind, and then people are suffering, right? In the midst of a pandemic
Yeah.
or outside of a pandemic. So, how can we reconcile that idea of a good God to that? We have a familiar story in the Bible. I think a whole book dedicated to that, the book of Job, that talks about the suffering of one man. So, Abimbola, I want you to actually tell us what was really happening to Job um, in terms of his suffering. How can we really understand what was happening to Job?
Okay. So thank you very much, Nathaniel, for having me. The the first thing to know about Job, well, Job is the first book of the Bible to be written, okay, based on
Yeah.
archaeological records. So there are things that are in that book, or let me say, probably Job recorded the things that happened to him without
Yeah.
an accurate knowledge about about this stuff from people before.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
When you are coming
Yeah.
to, you would think, I mean, if there is no this is you are the first person it is happening to, right? So you would want to account it the way you can perceive it. So that was what Job
Mm-hmm.
did. The the actions that happened to him, he recorded it as something he observed, as something he felt. Okay, so he
Yeah.
felt that God was dealing with him. All right. Many times when people read the book of Job, chapter 1, they feel like Job was a righteous man without. They feel Job was a righteous man without sins, or it was all faultless, like a stainless steel. Okay.
Mm.
But actually, when you read further, when you read, for example, Job chapter 7, then you read also the conversation Elihu had with this guy. Hey,
Right.
you would understand that Job was not actually entirely righteous. Okay, so Job was someone who said he didn't want to speak to God at certain times. Sometimes God would appear to Job in dreams and visions. Job would say that that God was disturbing him in his sleep. Okay, so repeatedly Job had pushed God away and all of that. So when this thing happened, Job thought that God was trying to punish him for certain things.
All right.
Okay, now if I were the one that God, probably I knew God was trying to get to me and I pushed God away a number of times, then something bad happened. Okay, now I would feel like, okay, maybe this is God trying to correct me. So eventually, when his wife would come to tell him to denounce God, and his friends would come and tell him to stop believing God and all of that, based on what you're passing through and what you've ignored, I mean, you've already ignored God in time past. What
Yeah.
do you expect the guy to do? He wouldn't want to do that because he would think, okay, I rejected God the first time. Probably that's why this is happening to me. Now, if
Mm.
I reject him again, what's going to happen? Okay, so what happened to Job was just a natural disaster. Let's just put it that way. It was a natural
Mm.
disaster. It wasn't God trying to correct Job. Okay,
Oh.
so Job had a lifestyle that wasn't entirely good. If you read the conversation of Elihu, I mean, if you start from probably Job chapter 32, you can start reading from Job chapter 32. Okay, so when you read that, you would understand that the life that Job lived, he had affluent friends that were in power. Okay, so
Yeah.
some of them were wicked. then Job actually he associated himself with them. Okay. Now, Job knew the repercussion of associating himself with these people, and he was scared, thinking, I mean,